This is the type of sort of fallout you should see after a case like this, where the judge dismisses 10 of Blake's 13 claims, and then she settles, doesn't get a cent out of the whole thing. She claims victory. No one believes it. It's kind of like that same off-ramp that Trump is looking for with the war in Iran. We're not going to win that war. Blake wasn't going to win this one.
I got the most amazing cast. I truly did. We all became a family. That was Blake Lively 7 months ago. And here's the thing about families. When one member gets exposed, the rest of them have to decide if they are sticking around for Thanksgiving dinner or quietly slipping out the back door before the turkey hits the table. So let me paint you a picture. Imagine a giant Hollywood mansion. Inside, a long mahogany table. At the head sits Blake Lively, still smiling, still claiming victory after her legal war with Justin Baldoni ended in a settlement that saw 10 of her 13 claims tossed out by a judge. Around that table are the actors from It Ends With Us. The ones who once raised their glasses and posted their support. The ones who called Justin Baldoni every name in the book. And now those chairs are empty. Not because anyone made a dramatic exit. Not because anyone issued a scathing statement. No. They just stopped showing up. They quiet quit.
Is like, these people that formerly supported her, they're not supporting her. They're not out there speaking out against her. They're just quiet quitting, right? They're doing that thing where they're just no longer really, taking a side. The problem with this, and I think what we should learn from this scenario with Brandon Sklenar and with Isabella Ferrer is like, and again, by the way, I can find a way to empathize with Isabella. It's like, boy, here Isabella is, the person who plays young Blake Lively, and
they are never gonna say another word about it. Welcome back to the CelebTea Files, where we don't just cover the drama, we expose what the headlines are hiding. And right now, what the headlines are hiding is a silent exodus happening behind the scenes of one of the messiest Hollywood scandals in years. So hit that subscribe button right now, because this story is not about who won or lost in court. This is about what happens when the people who once had your back suddenly realize they cannot remember your phone number. Here is the moment everything changed. Brandon Sklenar, the actor who played Atlas in It Ends With Us, posted something in August of last year that he probably wishes he could delete from the internet and from his memory. He wrote, and I am quoting directly, "Read the complaint. For the love of God, read this." He was talking about Blake Lively's legal filing against Justin Baldoni. He was rallying behind her. He was all in.
Well, of course, it was so wild he no longer supports it publicly. Read the complaint. For the love of God, read this. Now, of course, for the love of God, Baldoni gave his response. And ever since then, Brandon Sklenar has been pretty quiet about it. Well,
and then Justin Baldoni released his receipts, his texts, his timeline, his side of the story that made a lot of people who had already picked teams suddenly start sweating. But here is what nobody is talking about. Brandon Sklenar did not just go quiet.
That's next Friday. All right, let's get into the Blake Lively stuff. So Brandon Sklenar quietly deletes his posts supporting Blake Lively and cast and has removed all traces of It Ends With Us from his Instagram. This is just a good example of how, Hollywood and probably a lot of industries, it's all, everyone's working for themselves. Everyone's looking out for them.
He went invisible. He deleted every single trace of It Ends With Us from his Instagram. Every post, every behind-the-scenes photo, every cast tribute, gone. Not a single new statement explaining why. Not a single apology to Baldoni if he got it wrong. Not even a vague Instagram story with a black screen and a Bible verse. Just silence. And trust me, the next part gets so much worse. Because Brandon Sklenar is not alone. Isabella Ferrer, the actress who played young Blake Lively in the film, has done the exact same thing. Quiet quit. No statement, no explanation, no acknowledgement that the woman she called her mentor, her inspiration, the person she told the world she wanted to be just like, might not have been telling the whole truth. And here is where the irony gets so thick you could cut it with a butter knife. Blake Lively built her entire legal strategy on being believed, on the idea that women who come forward deserve to be heard, on the principle that the public should not rush to judgment against accusers. And yet, the quiet quitting happening around her right now is the loudest condemnation she could ever receive. You want to know what real betrayal looks like? It does not look like someone screaming at you in public. It looks like someone who used to defend you in group chats suddenly leaving you on red forever. The celebrity drama pyramid always starts with the shocking moment, and that moment was when we realized Blake Lively claimed victory after a judge gutted her case. She settled. She got $0 from Baldoni. She walked away with nothing except the right to say she did not lose, which is the legal equivalent of showing up to a race, falling down at the start line, and telling everyone you tied for first. But the backstory explosion is even messier. Go back to when this all started. Blake Lively accused Justin Baldoni of sexual harassment on set. She said he created a hostile work environment. She said he retaliated against her. And an entire industry rallied behind her. Co-stars posted support. Fans flooded social media with hashtags. The machine of public opinion cranked up to full speed. And then the receipts came out.
Justin Baldoni did not just deny the claims. He showed texts from Blake Lively herself. Texts where she invited him into her trailer while she was pumping. Texts where she joked with him. Texts that painted a picture of a working relationship that looked nothing like the nightmare she described in her complaint. And here is where we have to hit pause and ask the question no one wants to ask out loud. What if believing women is not the same thing as believing every woman automatically without evidence? What if the movement that was supposed to protect real victims just got used as a weapon by someone who wanted to destroy a man's career because she did not like how he promoted her movie? That is the moral refrain of this entire saga, and I am going to say it 3 times because it needs to stick. Believe victims, not just accusers. Believe victims, not just accusers. Because when we confuse those two things, people like Isabella Ferrer end up collateral damage. She played young Blake.
Caught in this scenario. And look, in the end, the person who's probably hurt the most out of the entire It Ends With Us saga, other than Blake Lively's bank account and her PR, but the person who's hurt the most collaterally has to be Isabella. I mean, I don't see her working ever again because she wasn't an up-and-coming star. She just played the younger version of Blake. She's kind of attached to Blake. Now,
she thought she was hitching her wagon to a star. She posted support because Blake asked her to, because Blake was her hero, because Blake made her feel special. And now, Isabella Ferrer is not working. Her career is frozen.
Way to empathize with Isabella. It's like, boy, here Isabella is, the person who plays young Blake Lively, and she thinks Blake's the best thing in the world. Her career's made. She's calling her mom, can you believe it? I'm going to get to play young Blake Lively. This is crazy. And then Blake asks you to support her, and you're like, yeah, of course. Yeah, that guy's a scumbag, whatever. And then you find out Blake's on the wrong side of the history. It's got to be a tough scenario.
Not because she did anything wrong, but because she picked the wrong person to believe. And Brandon Sklenar, he is going to be fine because he is already established. But he learned the lesson that everyone in Hollywood learns eventually. Loyalty is a loan, not a gift. And eventually, the bank always calls it in. But this is not just about 2 actors deleting Instagram posts. This is bigger. This is about what the Blake Lively situation just did to the entire Me Too movement. Because while all of this was happening, Cate Blanchett said something at a convention.
Cate Blanchett wondered why the Me Too movement got killed very quickly. And honestly, people are acting like we didn't all just watch Blake Lively help put the final nail in the coffin. So I wanted to let's share what Cate Blanchett had to say at Cannes, and then I'll give my take on it.
That stopped me cold. She said she wondered why the Me Too movement got killed so quickly. And the answer is sitting right in front of us. We just watched Blake Lively help put the final nail in the coffin. Not because she lied, necessarily, but because she made people afraid to believe anyone ever again. Cate Blanchett talked about how secrets become public and how difficult that is to deal with. She talked about looking at the circle of people around someone who behaves badly and asking who enabled them. She talked about atonement and whether someone...
I think when those things are made public, it's very disconcerting if you found that you've worked with someone or are working with someone who has behaved in ways that are reprehensible. And there's a lot of secrets that we all hold that we don't tell one another, and when those secrets become public, it's somehow quite difficult to deal with. But I do think it's an eternal question, and I think it's how there's how much a person is enabled to behave that way, and that's you want to look at the circle of people around that person who are perpetuating that behavior, and also someone who
has genuinely changed. But here is the ticking clock question that changes everything. If a powerful celebrity can weaponize a movement meant to protect the vulnerable, how many real victims are going to stay silent?
Does this put the nail in the coffin for the Me Too movement? I don't think it should. I think everyone who comes forward with a claim should be taken seriously. I also think if there's someone who is negatively affected by those claims, we should put on hold punishing them until all of the facts of the matter.
Now, because they are terrified no one will believe them? That is the urgency here. That is why this story matters beyond gossip blogs and red carpet recaps. Because every time a case like this falls apart in public, every time an accuser settles after their claims get dismantled, every time a judge throws out most of the evidence, the pendulum swings back the other way.
Baldoni's side, and you say, well, my gut tells me she's full of shit. And that's a very obvious place that people come to. So again, it's like we need to be able to believe, but also verify and slow down the process in which we try to ruin people.
And the people who get crushed by that pendulum are not the rich celebrities with PR teams and crisis managers. They are the waitress at the diner who got groped by her manager and is afraid to say anything because she saw what happened to Blake Lively. They are the assistant who knows her boss is a predator, but also knows that coming forward could end her career if the case falls apart. They are the people who never had the power to weaponize anything in the first place. So here we are. The receipts and evidence are all public. The judge dismissed 10 of Blake's 13 claims. She settled for nothing. She declared victory anyway. Her castmates have gone radio silent. And the unanswered question that keeps me up at night is this: what happens the next time a real victim comes forward? What happens when a woman with no power, no money, no army of lawyers tells the truth about someone famous? Is anyone going to believe her? Or are we all going to remember Blake Lively and say, well, we need to wait for the receipts this time? Because here is what the public is already saying. Scroll through any comment section, look at any forum. Millions of fans are no longer automatically believing accusers. They are skeptical. They are waiting. They are demanding proof before they pick a side. And on one hand, that is called being responsible. On the other hand, that is called the death of the presumption of good faith that the Me Too movement fought so hard to establish. And if you think I am exaggerating, ask yourself this. When was the last time you saw a high-profile accusation and immediately believed it without checking the other side? If the answer is not recently, you are proving my point. But here is the thing that makes me genuinely angry. The people who suffer the most in situations like this are never the ones at the center of the drama. Blake Lively is still rich. She still has Ryan Reynolds. She still has a production company. She is going to be fine. Justin Baldoni is going to direct again. He is going to be fine. Brandon Sklenar deleted his Instagram posts and moved on to his next project. He is going to be fine. But Isabella Ferrer, the Vaughn actress who played young Blake, the one who posted support because her idol asked her to, the one who is now radioactive because she is attached to a scandal she did not create, what happens to her? Quiet quitting is not just about deleting posts. Quiet quitting is about an entire industry deciding without ever saying it out loud that you are no longer worth the risk. And that is the real story here. Not who won the legal battle, not who had the better texts, not which celebrity looked worse on the witness stand. The real story is that we are watching a slow-motion car crash of accountability, and the only people getting hurt are the ones who were just trying to survive in a system that chews up the powerless and spits out the unlucky. So let me ask you directly, because I want to know what you think. After everything that has come out in the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni saga, do you still believe accusers automatically? Or has this case changed the way you think about who deserves the benefit of the doubt? Drop your answer in the comments. And while you are there, tell me if you think Brandon Sklenar and Isabella Ferrer owe the public an explanation for their silence, or if they are smart for protecting themselves in a situation where no matter what they say, someone is going to hate them for it. Before you go, make sure you like this video, share it with someone who is still confused about why the Me Too movement is struggling, and subscribe to the CelebTea Files so you never miss a breakdown of the biggest celebrity scandals unfolding in real time. Hit that notification bell too, because trust me, the dust has not settled on this story yet. There are more receipts coming. There are more quiet quitters who have not been identified, and we are going to be right here, spilling every last drop of tea, whether the celebrities want us to or not, because that is what we do. We expose what the headlines are hiding. And right now, the headlines are hiding the sound of Hollywood silently learning that the easiest way to survive a scandal is to pretend you were never there at all.